Let's continue with the fourth question. It says, suppose that the demand curve for wheat is Q equal to 100 minus 10p, the same demand function, question 4 we are talking about, and the supply curve is Q equal to 10p, the same supply, and the government imposes a specific tax of 1 lira per unit. How do the equilibrium price and quantity change? The question A. Let's first find the equilibrium quantity and price again. When we equalize them to each other, the same demand functions, we found that 10p equal to 10p, then equilibrium price before the tax is 5 and equilibrium quantity is 50. Demand function, if p is 0, q is 100, and here is 10, price and quantity, and we have linear supply function satisfies the origin, and this is supply and this is demand, and at the equilibrium the price is 5 and quantity is 50. Now the government puts 1 lira specific tax, and this specific tax will shift our supply function to the up, to the left also, but how can we calculate the shift rate? Because this is a monetary value, 1 lira, $1, etc. We can add it to the price. We can add it vertically because price is represented in the vertical axis. So we can say that the supply will shift to up 1 lira by specific tax, just like that. You can also say that it shifted to left, but if you need to tell the shift ratio, then you need to tell it shifted, supply curve shifted to up by the specific tax. So this is the new supply function S plus T. And it is asked at question A, what is the equilibrium price and quantity with the tax? Now we will have a 3-step solution process for that kind of questions. In step one, find the inverse supply function. Inverse supply, what does it mean? It means that the supply function which is written P equal to. The supply function here is given as Q equal to 10p. We will rewrite it as P equal to Q over 10. That is our inverse supply function. Inverse supply. In step 2, add the specific tax to the inverse supply. So the red supply function, let's say P new, the red one, is the old one, Q over 10, plus specific tax, plus 1 lira. Q over 10 plus 1. So that is our new supply function S plus T in our graph. We are adding, please notice, we are adding the specific tax into the price. P eşittir şekline bunu getirmemizin sebebi vergiyi P'nin üzerine eklememiz gerektiği. Şimdi burada eğer buraya artı 1 yazarsanız 10P artı 1 yazarsanız aslında bunu o 1 lirayı neyin üzerine eklemiş oluyorsunuz? 10P neyin dengi? Quantity'nin, değil mi? Dolayısıyla artı 1'i buraya yazamıyoruz. P'nin üzerine ekleyebilmek için bunu parasal bir değişken dedik. Fiyatın üzerine ekleyebilmek için bunu önce P eşittir şekline getirmemiz lazım. Getirdik. Üzerine daha sonra vergiyi ekledik. This is step 2. And in the step 3, what will we do? In step 3, we will equalize the new supply function to the initial demand function. Equalize demand to the new supply function, or SR, S plus T you can also say. You can do it in 2 ways. You can do it by writing the supply function as Q equal to, again, because demand function is written as the normal demand, Q equal to, or you can just insert that value into the demand function to find the equilibrium quantity. Şimdi bunu iki şekilde yapabilirsiniz. Taleple arzı eşitlerken ya bunu tekrardan Q eşittir haline getirirsiniz. Çünkü 100 eksi 10P'ye eşitleyeceğiz. Bunun da Q eşittir olması lazım ki eşitleyelim. Ya da ikinci yol, bu P'yi burada P gördüğünüz yere yazarsanız da aynı şekilde eşitlemiş olursunuz. Biz bu ikinci yolu yazalım. Yani diyelim ki Q eşittir 100 eksi 10. P gördüğüm yere Q bölü 10 artı 1 yazdım. Bu şekilde arzda talebi eşitlemiş oldum. Yani talepte P gördüğüm yere arz fonksiyonunu P cinsinden yazdım. Peki bunu bir düzenleyelim bakalım. 100 eksi Q eksi 10. Doğru mu? 2Q eşittir 90. Q eşittir 45. So after the tax, the quantity, the new quantity is 45. And to find the price, we will insert that quantity into the supply or demand. Supply is easier, I think. So the new price is Q over 10, 45 over 10 plus 1, which is 5.5. Here is 5.5. So after the tax, the quantity, the equilibrium quantity has decreased to 45 and the equilibrium price has increased to 5.5. That is the first question. How do the equilibrium price and quantity change? Question B asks, what effect does this tax have on consumer surplus, producer surplus, government revenue, welfare, and deadweight laws? The same question with the others. How can we do it? Şöyle yapalım. Şeklimizi kaybetmeyelim. Let's make our table to understand what happens to the consumer surplus, producer surplus, and the other things. Here, let's write specific tax. Consumer surplus, producer surplus, and here let's write tax revenue of the government before the policy, after the policy, and let's look up the changes. Start with consumer surplus. The consumer surplus before is the area between the equilibrium price and the demand function. So this triangle area will give us the consumer surplus before the tax, which is 10 minus 5, this one, times 50 over 2. Which is 125, just the same with the other questions. And producer surplus is just the same, 5 times 50 over 2, again 125. And when there is no tax, there will be no tax revenue, of course. Let's come to the after the policy case. After the policy, now we are the equilibrium price. We found that equilibrium price will be 5.5. So the consumer surplus will be the area. Let's shed it. The area here, that area. The new consumer surplus will be the shaded area, shaded blue shaded area, which is 10 minus 5.5 times 45 over 2, which is bakalım, hesaplamadan geldim ben de, çarpı 45 bölü 2 101.25 imiş. 101.25. So consumer surplus was before 125, now 101.25. The change in consumer surplus, in that case, there is a decrease in consumer surplus by 23.75. Let's come to producer surplus. After the tax, producer surplus will be the area. Here, that 5.5 is the price for demanders, right? Price for demanders. Bakkala gittiğinizde artık bu malı 5,5 liraya alıyorsunuz. Ama bakkalın cebine 5,5 lira mı giriyor? Hayır. Kasasına 5,5 lira giriyor, evet, ama onun 1 lirasını devlete vergi olarak ödeyecek, değil mi? Dolayısıyla price for suppliers will be 4.5. This is PS. So the producer surplus with the tax will be the area below this 4.5 price. The area between 4.5 and here. So in that case, the producer surplus will be 4.5 times 45 over 2. Again, 101. Is it? Yes, 101.25. So the change in producer surplus is again minus 23.75. What about the tax revenue of the government? The tax revenue of the government, let's write it here. Tax revenue of the government is the new equilibrium with tax times specific tax rate. So it is 45, the new equilibrium, 45 units of goods will be sold in the market, and each of them, the producer will pay to the government 1 lira. So the tax revenue of the government is 45 lira. Which area is it? It is the area here. This area. 1 times 45. So the tax revenue of the government has increased from 0 to 45. So 45 units increase in a tax revenue. What is the deadweight loss of this policy? Deadweight loss, or change in welfare, change in consumer surplus plus change in producer surplus plus tax revenue. So what is it? It is minus 23.75. Again, minus 23.75 plus 45. 46, 47 buçuk. 2,5 mu olacak o zaman? Minus 2.5 is the change in the welfare, which is called as deadweight loss of this policy. You can find the deadweight loss by calculating that triangle also. Küçük üçgenin alanı der genelde öğrenci. Oradaki üçgenin alanı da bize deadweight loss'u gösterecek. Sadece dolayısıyla deadweight loss soruluyorsa o alanı hesaplamakla da yetinebilirsiniz. Yani nasıl hesaplayacağız o alanı? Taban 1. Ya da 1 demeyelim de ne diyelim? 5,5 eksi 4,5 çarpı yükseklik 50 eksi 45 bölü 2. Dolayısıyla yine buradan da pek tabii ki aynı sonuca varacağız. 2,5. Okay. That is the end of the fourth question.